Hi there, this is Save with Crypto here. Okay, so just while Bitcoin, Ethereum and every other crypto under the sun are dying on their arse, I'm just going to play around with Polkadot, just to see if I can do lots of little trades to sort of try and increase the amount of DOT I've got. Okay, so I'm doing this on Bitget. This isn't Bitget, this is TradingView. Bitget looks like this. Okay, so I'm currently not in a trade. There is one set, but I'll show you that in a moment. And basically what my idea is at the moment, DOT seems to be stuck like most crypto in a sort of like, range where it's just sort of going up and down a little bit. However, if I use two of my favorite indicators, which for regular viewers will know they are the whole suite and the VWAP standard deviation bands. If I use those indicators, I can get a clue about which way Polkadot might be going. To get these indicators, you just go up here, and if you want the whole suite, you just search for whole suite, HULL. It's whole suite by in silico, that's the one I use. And the VWAP standard deviation is VWAP standard deviation bands version 2 mod update. That's the one I use. Okay, and that's by the Yang. So they are both free indicators, but if you are going to use TradingView anyway, can you do us a favour? Can you just sign up with my link, which is savewith.crypto.org/TV? Okay. Now the reason for that is if you decide to go for a pro account at any point, you get it cheaper. I think you get $30 off, and I get some like points that get awarded to me so that I can extend my subscription or something like that. To be honest, nobody's ever signed up for it with my link, so if you want to, that'd be great. savewithcrypto.org/TV. Okay, so when you put these indicators on, the VWAP looks like this. Okay, now you can see that this VWAP sort of resets at midnight every night and then puts these like red and green bands there and then this dotted line through the middle. This is more clearer if I look at it on something like the 5-minute time frame. So you can see here that you've got the green bands there and the red bands there and this dotted line for the VWAP in the middle. VWAP is volume weighted average price. Okay, so it takes into account volume, it takes into account the average price, like a moving average almost. And so you don't have to worry too much about looking at volume and stuff like that. Generally what I do is I think about going long when it's in this green area, and I think about going short or taking profit from a long when it's in the red area. Obviously, if I'm doing a short, I'm looking at a short in the red area. I'm thinking about taking profit in the green area. Okay. Now, what I've been doing is I've been setting long orders on this bottom green line here. Okay. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to go 6.446. Okay. So I'm going to put in there 6.446, and I'm actually going to crazily use all my DOT, which I may live to regret, but let's see. I'm just going to confirm that there. Okay. So if the price comes down to there, it will go into a long at that point. Now I'm using 8x leverage, which is probably a little bit high for DOT, to be honest. I'd probably use more like 3 or 4 to be on the safe side. But what I will do as well is look at the whole suite indicator, which is this one here. Now this one does vary on different time frames. So if you look at it on the 5 minute, it looks like that. If you look at it on the 1 hour, it looks like that. Now the 1 hour to me looks like, we're in a downtrend here and that could come down further. The 5 minute looks like we're in a short-term uptrend, but that could easily come down again, which is why I'm hoping the price will come down to whatever I set down there and fill my order. Okay, so it's 12:18 on Thursday the 13th of June there, 2024. So let's leave that and see what happens. Now, it looks like I could have missed this, but even so, I'm going to try and be patient and actually think to myself, okay, well, this has come down a little bit further now, so 6.437 is what I should be going for. So I've actually cancelled the previous order, and I'm going to set this new one at 6.437, once again using all my capital, which I know is a bad idea. But nevertheless, there it is. So the time is 13:17, so let's see what happens. And you can see, interesting enough, just a few minutes later, here at 13:53, the price has come down again. And it's almost going to fill. It's so tempted to move that, but I'm not going to. Now, okay, so a few hours later, it's now 16:22. This almost filled, but I kind of feel like we could push the entry down a little bit more, actually. So let's see if I can drag it. 6.411. Okay, so let's leave that and see if that fills. Okay, so that just filled there at 6.411. So let's see what happens. The time now is 16:37. Looking at trading view, is that a good entry? What could happen is I drew this trend line in here, so it feasibly could come back to something like 6.06. And of course it could just break that trend line completely and then fall down here. But let's hope not. Okay, so it's a little bit later now, and the price did indeed sort of go up a little bit. So it's actually now 5.11% in profit. So for me, that's like $34, which is not too bad. My temptation now is to set a stop loss. Now, I always set them too much in profit, but I think I'll set a stop loss about here, 6.435. So let's do that. 6.435. Okay, so that will make 3 dot if that goes down there. Okay, so I'll confirm that. Now, how could I have made this better? Well, my entry wasn't bad, but it could have been better. And what I should have been doing is looking at the price of Bitcoin, because I've had this trend line drawn here. This is on the 3-day time frame. This goes right back to October 23, and then when I had this cock and ball shape down here, that was around about January, February. It touched then. It touched there again on the 30th of April, and again today, right? So if we zoom in there, maybe go to the 5-minute time frame so we can see what's going on. So that came down there, and that did indeed sort of touch that trend line about there. At the time when that dot trade opened, I think the price of Bitcoin was about here. So I probably could have looked at Bitcoin, actually saw when it came to my trend line, and then done the actual dot entry then. That might have worked. Sometimes that works when you've got coins that follow Bitcoin quite well. If we look at dot on trading view and look at it on the 7-minute time frame and put on the whole suite, what's nice to see here is the fact that the whole suite here on the 7-minute has just gone green. Now, it did go green here and didn't do that much, but I'm trying to look for an instance which is similar to this one here. And probably the best one is probably this one here when it was coming down here a few days ago. And that came down, did a sort of fairly rapid thing down and went back up again. And that's gone up. Now, that's actually about the position we're at now, isn't it? But of course, there is the possibility that it could just go way back up there. So for the moment, I'm going to keep the stop loss where it is. Okay, so that last part of the video was last night, and I intended to publish the video last night, and I didn't. And what I did, even worse, was I removed the stop loss because I thought it might just wick down here. And it didn't just wick down, it came down quite a lot. So I should have really closed the trade there and then re-entered there, but that was like 1 o'clock in the morning, so that wouldn't have really happened. And what's happened today is we come up again. So I'm actually in profit only by like $16, but I think I'm going to try and take profit at about 6.484. So I might just set a take profit there now. Okay, so 6.484, and that's going to make 9 dot, which is not too bad. So I'll leave that for a bit and see what happens. Yeah, so I'm being very, very patient about this, and yeah, it's 7.81% in profit at the minute. That's $54. And when this happens, I always get tempted to sort of like, you know, expand the scale to sort of like try and see that gap. Think, come on, get there. But the whole point about this is if I'd have just looked at it last night and thought, well, okay, that's like $60 in profit, I could have just taken the profit and that would be it. Then I could be doing this over again now, so I could be compounding that gain. Okay, so that's not really worked out like I expected. I should have taken profit just then. I should have just thought, sod it, it's near enough. and gone for it. But, the price has come down again now. But I just drew these parallel channels on the chart on the 5-minute time frame, but they look okay on like the 1 hour as well. But you can see what happened here last time was the price kind of broke out of the parallel channel and came back and then retested it and then shot off again. So maybe that's what it's doing here. Maybe it's coming back down here to retest it around like 6.3, and then maybe it'll shoot off again. I do find altcoins really hard to trade, with leverage and stuff, and it's, I've had a few good ones, but not that many. I just prefer doing Bitcoin really because it's just, I just know how it moves, even though it can be very erratic at times, but I know the kind of, what to expect. But nevertheless, it's been an interesting video to show you how the whole suite works and show you how the VWAP, this thing here, how that works as well, which, by the way, has the green band about here. So if that was to retest, that would be really neat as well. That would be inside the VWAP as well, and off it would go. It might work out like that, and if it did, that would sort of make a double bottom like that, wouldn't it? Which is normally a very bullish thing. So, yeah, with DOT, I'm still quite bullish. I'm still going to look at sort of trading this range if I can. I'll let you know what happens anyway over in my free Telegram group, which you can get to by going to savewith.crypto.org/TG and then following the instructions in the pinned comment at the top. So if you like the sound of that, please do give the video a like. Make sure you are subscribed and you've got the notifications set on all. Any questions or anything you'd like to ask me, just leave it in the comments. And above all, tell your friends.